How do? I'm a man on the internet, and I'm making a computer game. Here is what will hopefully be the first of a series of vlogs I'm making to document my journey. Come with me. My game is called SalaryMan, and it's a wacky lot of fun, but more on that later. First, some background. I'm making my game using AGS, that's Adventure Games Studio. It's an all-in-one tool for making point and clickers in the LucasArts/Sierra mold. It's very simple to use because barely any code is required, and as I can barely code, it seemed to make sense. I've been using AGS on and off since 1974, so it's been in my life so long at this point, I can't remember anything else. In 2004, I made my first game in AGS, a terrible Monkey Island rip-off with paintovers, stolen backgrounds, and lame pop culture references. It was, and is, a fetid pile of stale bumsicles, and I never uploaded it anywhere. Unfinished. In 2006, I made a Doctor Who fan game, which was quite good fun. The demo was downloaded thousands of times, but I found it difficult to proceed with the game after that episode with the giant bee. Unfinished. In 2008, I made another game called Eric and the Apostolic Megalith. A love letter to point-and-click games of old, with a wacky sense of humour, a pretentious backstory, and an unpronounceable name. The demo was downloaded hundreds of times, but then I went to university. Unfinished. After I graduated university, I moved to Japan, where I worked training ninjas. Eventually, I got back into AGS again, and about 3 years ago I produced Ruin, a kind of anti-point-and-click where you annoy people by breaking their stuff and throwing things into fires. The demo was downloaded about 20 times, and I left it unfinished. All of which brings us to now. SalaryMan is a game I've been working on in my spare time, fitting it in between my job and what passes for my social life for about a year and a half, with the goal of maybe actually finishing a project before old age, and then only the end of age. SalaryMan is a game about escaping the drudgery of everyday life. Here's SalaryMan now. Look at his massive head. SalaryMan has a beautiful house and a beautiful wife, and he works in this horrible factory place where his job is to stamp these green things. Stamp. Stamp. But if you get bored, you can stamp yourself. Or stamp that guy. Stamp the plumber's bottom. Haha! Even the tutorial arrow hates you. This isn't the central game mechanic, the stamp thing. Just an example of the many and varied non-linear, non-restrictive interactions open to the player. SalaryMan is then thrown into a crooked world full of weird characters whom can help or hinder him depending on his actions. His goal is twofold: to get back home to his loving family, and also to uncover a plot by the mega corporation he works for, which threatens his world. Along the way, he's occasionally sick on things. There are usually 2 or 3 ways to get past the game's obstacles, and depending on how you play, this might affect how other characters react to you, ultimately affecting the ending too, like, I don't know, Silent Hill 2 or something. A lot of the time, this will hinge on whether you've been nice or mean to the characters you meet. For example,
the cute critters in the furnace. You don't have to put the critters in the furnace, but you can put the critters in the furnace. Stamp the plumber's ass. You can set fire to the wooden girl. You don't have to set fire to the wooden girl, but you can set fire to the wooden girl. Swap your card in the plumber's ass crack.
check it out. In May of this year, I released a funky trailer, saying the game would be out in autumn. Haha! No! It'll be at least another 6 months, probably more, as I'm doing all the voices and music myself. And the artwork and animation isn't even all done yet. Speaking of which, I make my backgrounds and animations using Deluxe Paint animation, which is so old it has to be run on an old tin biscuit box with a hamster wheel, because even though A-Sprite is great, it's simply too flashy and newfangled for me. This handles all my backgrounds and animations, and sometimes crashes after I've spent an hour drawing an intricate animation of someone being flattened by a vending machine, so that's lovely. I use GIMP for polishing and colour correction, and I'm making the music in GarageBand. At this point, I have so many plates spinning, I feel like one of those plate spinners! That's about it for this introductory vlog thingy. I hope you'll click a thing, or whatever it is you'll do, and I'll be back next time to talk about, I don't know, character design, or puzzle progression, you know, some other thing. Links below to my Twitter and Instagoon. Look at them with your eyes, and please do follow me because I'm very, very lonely out there right now. Okay, I love you. Bye-bye.